Something has been shifting in your life recently, and you may not have fully named it yet. It is not a sudden change. It did not arrive with a dramatic announcement or a single transformative moment. It arrived the way most real changes arrive for Capricorn, quietly beneath the surface, building slowly until the day you look up and realize things are genuinely different from what they were. The weight that has been on your shoulders for so long feels slightly less heavy. The clarity you have been searching for is beginning to come. The sense that you have been climbing without end is softening into something that feels more like arrival. You are not imagining this. You are not projecting hope onto circumstances that have not changed. Something has genuinely and meaningfully shifted. A stronger chapter of your life is beginning, and while you may not have a name for it yet, some part of you already knows it is real. The signs are already here. They have been gathering around you like evidence of something you are almost ready to accept fully. This message exists to help you see them clearly, to confirm what you have been feeling, and to remind you that everything you have worked for, everything you have endured, and everything you have quietly believed was possible for you is beginning to take its proper shape. You have earned this, and it has begun. Sign 1. You are sleeping better and waking up with a sense of forward motion. Sleep is not a trivial thing. The way you sleep and the way you feel when you wake up is one of the most honest indicators available of where your nervous system actually is. When life is heavy and uncertain, sleep becomes restless, shallow, and interrupted. The body does not fully relax because something in the subconscious is still working through unresolved tension. When things are shifting toward the better, when the internal landscape is reorganizing itself in healthy ways, sleep returns. Not perfectly, not every single night, but in a pattern that begins to feel more like restoration than endurance. Capricorn has a tendency to treat sleep as something to be minimized when there is work to be done, which means that when Capricorn starts sleeping well unprompted, it is a meaningful signal. If you have been finding that the past several weeks have included nights of deeper, more settled rest than you have had in a while, that is not accidental. It is the signature of a nervous system that is finally releasing something it has been holding. A body that is beginning to feel that things are, in some fundamental way, going to be okay. That the grinding, exhausting uncertainty of a difficult season is lifting enough to allow genuine rest. When you wake up in the mornings now, notice what the first few moments feel like. If there is any thread of energy or purpose there, any sense that the day has something real to offer, any absence of the dread that used to accompany the opening of your eyes, that is a sign. The stronger chapter announces itself first in the body before the mind has had time to catch up and name it. Your body knows you are moving into something better. That knowledge is what is letting you rest. Sign 2. Old sources of anxiety are beginning to lose their grip. There were things that used to send your mind into a spiral that no longer have the same power. Situations or thoughts that would reliably trigger anxiety, worry, or a sense of impending difficulty that now seem to arrive and dissolve more quickly than they used to. The problem has not necessarily gone away. The circumstance that caused the anxiety may still be present, but your relationship to it has shifted. You are not engaging with it the same way. You are not catastrophizing. You are not running through worst-case scenarios with the same frequency or intensity. Something has changed in how you are processing the challenges in your life. This is one of the clearest internal signs that a new chapter has begun. Not the disappearance of challenges, because Capricorn's life is never without its complexity, but a changed relationship to those challenges. One that feels less like being overwhelmed and more like being equipped. Less like being subject to circumstances and more like being someone who navigates circumstances from a stable center. That stability has been building in you for a long time. It is the earned product of everything you have been through and everything you have learned. It is not luck. It is the slow accumulation of a kind of groundedness that only comes from having moved through hard things without breaking. When you notice that the things that used to shake you are shaking you less, take that seriously. It is evidence of real internal growth. It is evidence that the person you are becoming is more capable of carrying the life you are building than the person you were a year ago. That growth is the foundation of the stronger chapter. It is not the reward for arriving. It is the thing that makes arrival possible. If what you are hearing feels accurate, know that it could happen if you applied this energy consistently for 21 consecutive days. That is the 21-day challenge pinned at the top of this channel. It is built around daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you are tired of staying in the same cycle, That structure is exactly what has been missing. Sign 3, you are beginning to attract the right kind of attention and opportunities. Capricorn does not chase. You build. You create structures, develop skills, and show up with consistency until the right things begin to find you. And something about the current season of your life is producing exactly that kind of convergence. Opportunities are beginning to arrive that feel genuinely aligned with who you are and where you are headed. People are noticing your work, your reliability, your capacity. Doors that were closed or invisible before are becoming visible, and some of them are beginning to open. This may show up as a professional opportunity that comes through an unexpected source. A conversation that turns into something you did not anticipate. A reconnection with someone from your past who now shows up as a meaningful ally, rather than just an old acquaintance. An invitation to do something that aligns precisely with the direction you have been quietly working toward. These moments are not coincidences. They are the return on the long investment you have made in being excellent, consistent, and real. Saturn rewards delayed effort. The delay is ending. Pay attention to what is presenting itself in the coming days and weeks. The stronger chapter does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it walks up quietly in the form of a conversation, an email, or a chance meeting that feels slightly different from ordinary moments. Your job is to be present enough to recognize it and confident enough in your own worth to engage with it seriously rather than minimizing what is being offered to you. The right opportunities recognize you. Make sure you recognize them back. Sign 4. The people who do not belong in your future are naturally falling away. This one may have felt painful before you recognized it as a sign of something good. The distance that has grown between you and certain people. The relationships that have quietly lost their momentum without any dramatic rupture. The connections that have simply faded as you have moved in a direction that they cannot follow. What felt like loss, or what you may have been trying to reverse or hold on to, is actually a form of natural alignment. Your energy is organizing itself around the future you are entering, and that future does not have space in it for every person from your past. This is not something that Capricorn initiates easily or comfortably. You are loyal by nature, and you do not let people go without considerable internal resistance. You question yourself, wonder if you have done something wrong, worry that you have somehow failed the relationship. But when the fading happens naturally, without conflict, without a specific cause, without anyone being the villain, it is often simply the universe doing the work of curation that you would have found too difficult to do deliberately. The people falling away are making room. They are making room for the relationships that belong in the next version of your life. For the people who can meet you where you are actually headed rather than holding you to where you have been. The loneliness that can accompany this transition is real and should not be dismissed. But it is temporary. And on the other side of it is connection that is more genuine, more nourishing, and more reciprocal than what is falling away. The clearing is preparing the space for the right people to enter. Sign 5. You are feeling drawn to make real changes in how you structure your daily life. Something is prompting you toward a different rhythm, a different routine, a different set of daily choices that feel more aligned with the person you are trying to become rather than the habits of the person you have been. Maybe you are waking up earlier and feeling the pull to use that quiet time intentionally. Maybe you are becoming more disciplined about what you put into your body, how you move, what you allow into your mental space. Maybe you are beginning to protect your time more fiercely, saying no to things that used to get an automatic yes, and creating space for things that actually matter to you. Capricorn is a sign of mastery, and mastery begins with the daily. The book you write 1,000 words at a time. The business you build one solid decision at a time. The body you maintain one consistent choice at a time. The new chapter you are entering is not going to be built in a single dramatic gesture. It is going to be built in the accumulation of changed daily patterns, and your inner nature is already beginning to pull you toward those patterns with more force than before. That pull is the intelligence of your sign recognizing that the infrastructure of the better chapter needs to be built at the level of daily habit. If you feel the urge to restructure how you spend your mornings, how you manage your energy, how you organize your work and rest, follow that urge. It is not restlessness. It is readiness. The architecture of a stronger life is built one deliberate day at a time, and the fact that you feel compelled to lay those foundations differently right now is a direct sign that the building has begun. If this message is resonating with your sign right now, trust that it is not a coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal at exactly the right moment. And you are here because you needed to hear this today. Your support, whether as a subscriber or as a member of this community, is what keeps these messages alive. The ones that touch hearts, awaken minds, and transform lives. If this video has been making sense to you, drop in the comments the day you were born. Let us keep going. Sign 6. Your relationship with your own goals is becoming more honest and more specific. There is a difference between wanting things vaguely and knowing clearly and specifically what you are building toward. Capricorn is an ambitious sign, but ambition without clarity can still produce a lot of motion that does not add up to meaningful direction. In the past, you may have known you wanted more without being entirely honest with yourself about what more actually looked like in specific terms. About what you truly wanted versus what you believed you should want. About the dreams you have kept hidden even from yourself because they felt too large or too impractical or too unlike the version of yourself that the world around you has always expected. Something is shifting in that relationship. The honesty about your real goals, your deepest desires, the actual shape of the life you want to build, is becoming clearer and more difficult to suppress. You are beginning to articulate things to yourself, even just internally, with more precision. You are finding it harder to settle for the vague safety of not quite knowing what you want, because the knowing is pushing through. That increased clarity is one of the most important signs that a stronger chapter is beginning, because you cannot build what you cannot name. And the fact that your truest goals are becoming clearer is the essential first step in the process of actually creating them. Capricorn has enormous capacity to turn a clear vision into a concrete reality. You have done it before with things that seemed impossible at the outset. The new clarity is the blueprint. The stronger chapter is the construction project. And you are a builder by nature. Sign 7. You are becoming more comfortable with your own company. You have always been somewhat self-sufficient. But there is a difference between spending time alone because you are too reserved or too private to connect easily, and spending time alone because you have developed a genuine and peaceful relationship with yourself. The latter is something that emerges from a certain level of inner work and inner settling that takes time, and is not given to everyone equally. If you have been noticing recently that your own company feels less uncomfortable, less restless, less like something you need to escape from, that is a meaningful sign of something growing inside you. Capricorn sometimes struggles with the inner world. You are an achiever by nature, and achievers can find it difficult to sit quietly without a task, because stillness can surface the things that have been too busy to feel. But the peace you are beginning to find in your own presence is a sign that a lot of the internal work is bearing fruit. The anxious noise is settling. The chronic self-criticism is softening. The need to constantly justify your existence through what you produce is becoming less urgent. You are beginning to simply be, and finding that being is not the absence of worth but the ground of it. That relationship with yourself, the quieter and more settled one that is emerging, is the foundation of every good thing that is coming. External success that rests on inner chaos is fragile. External success that rests on inner peace is durable. You are building the latter. The peace you are finding in your own company is one of the most underrated signs that the stronger chapter is not just beginning, but already underway. Sign 8. Things that used to feel impossible are beginning to feel within reach. Your relationship with what you believe is possible for you is changing. There are specific things, specific ambitions, specific versions of your life that you have kept categorized in the part of your mind that says someday, or maybe, or after I have done more. Things that have felt too large, too uncertain, too far from where you currently stand to treat as real near-term possibilities. And something has shifted in how close those things feel. Not because the distance between you and them has disappeared, but because your belief in your own ability to close that distance has genuinely grown. This shift in what feels within reach is not naivety. It is not wishful thinking. It is the natural consequence of all the growth you have done and all the evidence you have accumulated that you are someone who can actually make hard things happen. Every time you have gotten back up after a setback, you added to your own evidence base. Every time you delivered on something you had promised yourself, you built trust with yourself. Every time you did the hard thing when you could have done the easier thing, you invested in the version of yourself that can now look at something big and think, I can actually do that. The things that felt impossible are the same size they have always been. You are the thing that has changed. And the Capricorn who stands where you are standing now, having been through what you have been through and still standing, is genuinely different from the one who looked at those goals a year ago. More capable, more seasoned, more ready. The stronger chapter is the one where what has always been possible for you finally starts to feel like it. Sign 9. You are beginning to take up more space in your own life. This is subtle but important. You have spent a significant amount of time and energy managing, accommodating, and adjusting to what is expected, what is convenient for others, what fits the role you have been assigned or the image you have maintained. Capricorn is a sign that takes duty seriously, and duty can quietly eat into the space you have available for what is genuinely yours. Your preferences, your desires, your boundaries, your voice, your vision. Something is shifting in how much of that space you are claiming for yourself. You are speaking up slightly more than you used to, saying no slightly more easily, choosing your own needs slightly more often without the accompanying guilt that used to make those choices so costly. Not dramatically, not in a way that other people would necessarily notice yet, but internally there is a growing sense that your life is yours, that you are allowed to take up the space in it that you have always deserved, that you do not have to perpetually shrink or defer or manage the comfort of everyone else at the expense of your own. This claiming of space is a crucial sign of the stronger chapter, because the chapter ahead requires you to be fully present in your own life. It requires you to show up as yourself rather than as the version of yourself that has been performing adequacy, managing expectations, and staying carefully within the lines of other people's comfort. The real Capricorn, the one beneath all the responsibility and the composure and the carefully maintained image, is larger than any of that. And that larger version of you is beginning to emerge. Sign 10. You feel a quiet but unmistakable sense that things are finally going to work out. After everything, after the difficulty and the setbacks and the seasons of uncertainty, and the times when the path forward seemed genuinely unclear, something has shifted in your deepest sense of how things are going. Not blind optimism, not forced positivity, not pretending that everything is fine when it is not. Something quieter and more grounded than any of those things. A sense, arriving from somewhere beneath all the noise of your analytical mind, that the direction of your life has genuinely turned. That what you have been building is building towards something real. That the things you have been asking for, working for, and sometimes desperately hoping for are on their way. Capricorn does not feel this lightly. You are not a sign that defaults to things will work out without evidence. You are a sign that needs to see the evidence, evaluate it carefully, and only then allow yourself to draw a conclusion. The fact that you are beginning to feel, without being able to fully articulate why, that things are actually going to be okay, is one of the most trustworthy signs of all. Because it is not hope, it is recognition. It is the part of you that has seen enough and survived enough and built enough to look at your current circumstances and accurately assess that the trajectory has changed. The stronger chapter is not a destination that exists somewhere far in the future. It is the chapter you are already in. These 10 signs are not predictions of what might happen. They are descriptions of what is already beginning. The shift has already occurred. The only thing that remains is for you to fully accept it, fully inhabit it, and fully give yourself permission to move forward into the life that has been waiting for you on the other side of everything you have been through. If this message resonated with your sign, trust that it is not a coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it always sends exactly the right signal, and you are here because you needed to hear this today. Your support as a subscriber or as a member of this community is what keeps these messages alive. They are the messages that touch, awaken, and transform. If this video made sense to you, leave in the comments the day you were born. 10 signs, 10 confirmations. And yet the one that matters most is the one that has been building inside you all along. The knowing. The quiet, stubborn, remarkably persistent knowing that you were made for more than what has been your life so far. Capricorn does not sustain that knowing without reason. You are not a sign given to fantasy or to unfounded hope. You hold on to a vision only when something in your deep nature recognizes it as real. And you have been holding on to the vision of a better version of your life for a long time, through the hard seasons and the uncertain ones, through the moments when everything felt stuck and the moments when you wondered if the things you were working for would ever actually materialize. They are materializing. Not all at once, not in the dramatic rush that might feel more satisfying in the moment, but in the slow, sustainable, deeply rooted way that Capricorn builds everything worth building. The signs are here. The chapter is beginning. The life you have been working toward is assembling itself around you with all the quiet inevitability of a structure built by someone who knows exactly what they are doing. Saturn's greatest gift is this. It does not allow the person who truly does the work to go unrewarded. It simply insists on timing, on earning, on genuine readiness. The rewards that are arriving in your life now are arriving because you have been working and waiting and growing in all the ways that Saturn demanded. You did not take shortcuts. You did not collapse under the pressure when you could have. You did not stop believing in the vision when believing was difficult. And now the vision is becoming visible in the physical world, in the opportunities arriving, in the relationships aligning, in the sense of forward motion you are beginning to feel every morning, in the quiet certainty that things are going to work out. This is your stronger chapter, Capricorn. You are already in it. All you need to do now is keep moving, keep building, keep being exactly who you have always been at your most honest and most capable. The ground beneath you is solid. The direction is forward. And you deserve every single good thing that is on its way.